Hiya papaya, my divine dragons. It's me, your typical yet another dummy from the internets, yet to be recognized for his questionable and best attempts at being funny, incorruptible soul and objective reviews I guess too, but as of right now, total nobody. But actually, if you think about it, in the face of the cold and unforgiving and also infinite universe, aren't we all? And besides, since sadly mortality isn't a thing yet, one of these days you just have to get over yourself and embrace your inner Arnold Schwarzenegger, before he decided to cheat on his wife and had a bastard child with his very beautiful maid. They even shot a documentary about it for some reason. Well, creepy weirdos and Hollywood marching toe to toe since its inception. Am I right or am I right? What I wanted to say is to embrace your inner young Arnold Schwarzenegger, of course, and then finally come out of your cave, spreading your ideas into the digital space like a majestic eagle that you are. Yeah, I'm talking about you, dear listener. And even if said ideas are really goddamn stupid, I still think it's worth it. Not talking about the individuals who are permanently on Twitter though. Jesus Christus. Sometimes when my innocent eyes are witnessing some of those truly illuminated takes, I really have, how to put it, lingering thoughts about deleting Monica character file, but with my name on it, if you catch my drift. Wink wink. I mean, fun fact. Have you heard that males are actually 3 times more likely to commit file deletion in this day and age? Yeah, was a surprise to me also. Like 5 years ago? But now, oh, I totally do get it. Look, black pills aside, all I'm saying is that some of those current ideas cannot be read without a very heavy dose of the red wine. And I've heard from the most credible sources that
Wasted on red wine. Red wine drunk is the worst drunk there is. Let's get the fuck out of here.
By the way, have you heard that there will be a new South Park game? This is a legit year-old news already. I mean, what in tarnation? Am I so out of trance? Wait a minute, where was I? Yeah, sorry. You see, sometimes I'm like this elf from a super old WoW quest, where you needed to ring a bell to wake this girl the hell up from her daydreaming bullshit and actually follow you around. I mean, remember that? P.S. Don't play this abominable game! Tell you what, if I could have lobotomized myself so I can forget specifically only this game, and on top of that, I'd even be punished in the process by eating a bag of rusty nails, I'd still do it without a single hesitation. MMORPGs are truly a waste of your life and potential, kids. Listen to that dumbass who've burned his whole youth on this trash. And saying all that, I guess that I'll still try Riot's MMO when it will finally come out. In year 2050 perhaps, or 2077 even? Where we all will be legendary cyber-augmented to the brim heroes, and the criminals alike. And giant robots will fight fucking space aliens and each other every other day on the national cyber television or something. Wait, what? Sorry, looks like I'm rambling about some random bullshit again. The ultimate point of all of this totally skippable gibberish is that a few days ago I've seen an advice from the top G himself, Masahiro Sakurai, for the unmotivated people. And that advice was, just do it already, lol. So, I guess I'm a YouTuber now. Blah blah, you only live once, yada yada. Oh, and also, in Blinkit's Force Awakens review, the talk about the actual movie in question starts at minute 55. Not to mention that there are those who are actually watching Mauler's 6 hours reviews without getting bored. So, by that logic, I guess you guys are okay with those long-ass introductions. Am I right or am I right? Well, anyway, so Fire Emblem. Almost 5 minutes in, was that video about it? Sorry. So, the final DLC dropped like 2 months ago, and thus I've decided to finally clear it and make this bullshit that you see on your screens right now. Oh yeah, this video was almost finished like 4 weeks ago or something, but I was busy and sick and blah excuse blah. For example, when I've decided to insert that Kill la Kill clip at the start, I just kinda casually rewatched the whole thing right after. Yeah, that's me alright. What I'm saying is, better late than never. So, let's pretend that we're all here at the beginning of April, like it was supposed to be when I was finishing this video. Are we good? Of course we are. But actually wait, isn't it perfect to play with all of the content available? I mean, it's only natural to wait and then start playing with all of the DLC possible, no? And also, by now even the slowest of the slows could have already cleared everything in it to understand what the actual hell am I talking about. Well, aren't I great? To postpone this video by like 4 months was my plan all along, you see? And so finally, what can I say about this game? It was kinda good overall, but still so lacking for such a cynical a-hole like yours truly at least. And in this video, I'll share my very important and thoroughly over-explained thoughts of exactly why it is lacking, and why I think that at least half of the Nintendo developers are very good at what they are doing, and the other half seems to be consuming life-altering amounts of psilocybin mushrooms on a daily basis. So, without further ado, oh yeah, gonna confess first, the only 2 other Emblem games that I've played were 3 Houses and 3 Hopes, so I cannot be called an expert on this topic or anything really. I mean, I'm not your typical Emblem fan, but you can call me Emblem curious perhaps? Or even Emblem enjoyer rather. What I'm saying is that I can't tell for sure about the other games, yet I've heard rumors that literally all of them are played mostly because of gameplay, and the story is always goofy to the absolute max and kid-oriented. Even though there are occasional brutal massacres here and there, blood experiments on little children, and flipping demonic beasts and dragons that literally eat people, or whatever the hell that was. Don't get me wrong, I don't wanna see something akin of a Zack Snyder movie in my Emblem, but come on, can we at least fix some actual gosh darn silliness? Like this moment for example. Oh, and I won't go through all the weird incoherent things that I've found in this game, since it will take literal ages, but just for a bit. And of course...
But we do have to warn everyone that there are spoilers ahead.
Major spoilers.
Spoilers in the house!
So, right from the very start, in the literal prologue, we are kinda slicing through the corrupted guards with our buddies, and then fighting our big bad abusive dad. He is effortlessly defeated, and in the literal next scene, we are waking up from the supposed to be a 1000-year slumber. And now, wait a minute. What the hell is going on here? The first 10 minutes of my playthrough, I was like, but wasn't there a characters from the trailer there? ... question mark? And it was 1000 years ago? What? But now, after I finish the game, I'll say this.
That don't make no sense. Who writes this crap?
What?
All of this time, through all of my playthrough, I wasn't exactly sure what the actual fudge this prologue was all about. So here are my theories. Firstly, considering that I've seen characters from the trailer, I was sure that it will happen in the future at some point. And when I fought the last boss, I was like, well, maybe he's about to launch his special last phase or something, where he escapes and we are now chasing him in his weakened human form to finally end it. You know, like it was in Prologue. And as we all know, it never happened. So, secondly, it was sadly just another case of video gaming bullshit. They probably made this prologue before anything else and for some reason decided to just leave it there. And who cares if it doesn't make any sense? Happened in the industry many times before and surely will happen again. And lastly, number 3. It was all just a chaotic dream / random prophecy of the future that may or may not happen in reality. And, well, considering that we're waking up right after that, it would have made maximum amount of sense. But could you emphasize on the dream aspect of it at least a little bit? But wait, look what I found while making this video. I mean, it's called a past battle. So they are saying that this actually has happened in the past. No? Yes? What the hell is going on? Nintendo. I mean...
So already the case itself is delivering on the goofiness, but what elevates this and brings it to a higher level and turns that dial from goofy, blowing all the way past wacky, and even teetering on silly, is the fact that
it's literally right off the bat, first 5 to 10 minutes. Whatever. Moving on. Blah 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 blah. Oh, Dios mío, it's corrupted. By the way, how exactly are you traveling to Somniel again? You just kinda teleport to it? I believe that it was never explained. So, our heroes kind of descended from it in the middle of nowhere? I mean, if you could have teleported from it, why didn't you just move straight to the Lumera's castle? The same question applies if you are traveling by a flying horse, or whatever the hell else transport. But okay, whatever. So, the Queen Dragon Lumera appears in her dragon form, and I have only one question. How the hell they came to the conclusion to not give the main character a dragon form after all? I'm not a furry, but how cool it would have been!
Very cool. Very cool. Very cool.
Very cool.
Oh, and the veil as well. And the Zephyr girl too. No? Whatever. So, we arrived at the castle and then this happened.
Worry not. I doubt he will attack anytime soon. This castle is filled with the spirits of divine dragons. The corrupted cannot enter it easily.
Now that was a bigger lie than the notion that we'll ever see Claymore Season 2, because at the end of the same day we are immediately attacked. Yes, by humans, but there was a literal creator of the corrupted in the ranks. Also, Lumera said this phrase because they just fought corrupted 5 minutes before that. But, I mean, are we unironically assuming here that those divine dragon spirits can guard only against the corrupted? Oh well, maybe those divine dragon spirits went to buy some cigarettes or something. Also, there were corrupted literally in your homeland, you dummy! If they cannot enter here easily, and in Somniel too, then they might have some different plan perhaps. I mean, they're here for a reason. I'm just saying. Oh, and by the way,
I love you.
Give me all your money and jewelry.
Do you have any idea who I am?
Yeah, you're a dead man.
I'm Thomas Wayne, richest guy in this armpit of a city. You think I'm gonna walk down a place called Crime Alley without a full security detail?
can I please have a game where the respectful parental figure will actually survive? But actually in 3 hopes. No, you dummy. I mean, when we are meeting them at the beginning of the story, and Violet in the second game wasn't exactly a protagonist. I mean, it's happening 99% of the time. Maybe I'm just that unlucky to play / watch something with the same tropes, but come on, I've called this outcome right the exact second I learned about this girl's existence. Well, anyway, so right after that happened the first thing, but not the last, when I laughed out loud. And at this moment I was like, she just dropped it? And but wait, I thought to myself, maybe it's some kind of a clever plan, and she did it deliberately. And at chapter 10 my theory was actually proven. Oh, but wait, was it? Since when we are fighting her at that ruined port chapter, while possessing the time crystal again, she's doing nothing of a kind like she did before. Maybe it was just a one-time miracle, I thought. But yet again, in the escape chapter, even after Zelkov somehow magically stole the crystal from her, she just casually teleported rings from one corrupted to another, and then to the hounds even. I mean, look, she retrieved the rings from the corrupted that blocked the exit path, and that's already without the crystal. And it of course was never explained. So, what's up with that? You're telling me that she just drops it because she was actually clumsy? And then she, with a smug face, pretended that it was actually her plan to drop it? And after that, she just somehow stole it from us back, and then somehow used its powers to steal the rings? Even though, as I was saying, she was using the same powers even without the crystal to get 2 rings back at the end of the chapter 11. Wow, what an astonishing writing skills. I mean, am I missing something? Am I blind? Or stupid? Am I
Blind and stupid?
remember that? But actually, I googled this shit, and people are asking the same questions. So, you tell me. And then there is this chapter. So we just fought Whale, and then this happened. Firstly, where did he even came from? Was he there all alone? In his dragon form even? Or he was also out buying cigarettes? Oh, but look at this shit. Maybe he was just invisible like a real life chameleon. Or maybe he was hiding behind a pillar. Well, anyway, and right after that, this happened.
Heed me, emblem rings. Grant me infinite power.
And I was like, wait, they did it again? Again? So not only this asshole appeared out of nowhere, he then just kinda took all the rings from our fingers, somehow teleporting them like Vale did before, and now without time crystals or anything really. I mean, if those fell dumbasses could just retake the rings by their Jedi force of will at any given moment, how the hell is there any form of conflict? I should have lost long ago! This is legit fucking nuts at this point. I don't care how much heroin you're consuming, you just cannot miss it. And look at his size now. I mean, you're ultra arrogant, I get it, but considering how you've already lost Ans, can you just kind of finish the job? It's almost like you can kill us all by the time I click my fingers, Ans. Like, right now maybe? Wait, was this joking? Ah, whatever. So, overall there were a lot of weird moments. Much more actual silliness than what I've seen in Three Houses. Like, how we're supposed to be sad for Marnie, who was a brutal murderer? I mean, this girl somehow became one of the hounds, no? It happened because of her beautiful eyes? Or maybe it happened because she personally killed many people, since they're allied with the corrupted. Oh, poor Marnie, so sad, very sad. Or this other dragon girl's 1000-year-old sob story, that we're supposed to be sad for her also, even though she killed maybe thousands upon thousands of humans on her path too? Or like how stupid Lumera didn't kill Sombron, but for some reason sealed him and even allowed to move his body to Illusia of all places, so they started to worship him. I mean, like right here and now, just chop his head off. No? But why? Isn't he killed like all of your friends and is the ultimate calamity of the world? And what the hell does sealed even means? He just appeared out of nowhere that time. And every time actually. This astronomical laziness, I swear. And why it is always like this, I wonder. So many things are happening in those stories written by the questionable authors, as if they are created only for the sake of moving the plot, because otherwise it would have been over here and there. My hope is for AI and its future use. Something like this perhaps? Hey again, my divine dragons, Alex from the future here. So, apparently you cannot use 20-second clips from the South Park. Oh well, silly me I guess. But actually, wait a second, there are clips on the internet. 2 minutes? And how many views? 6.6 million? Oh, but maybe this channel somehow connected to the South Park studio. Oh, but wait a second. It's actually not. This guy is a random nobody, just like me. Whatever. Won't even bother. What I'm saying is, to fully understand the narrative, go watch this clip right now if you haven't seen it yet. The shit's hilarious, yo. And I will go and recompile this short video again for like 2 hours, and then we'll re-upload it again for like another 2 hours. Well, no biggie. Well, anyway, now back to the video. And I'm pretty sure it is already happening in some places. Flash is truly not based at all, but indeed is cringe. And soon all the developers will stop writing their own stories and just ask AI to do that in their stead, since most of them are clearly incapable of doing so on at least a decent level, not to mention doing it good. Well, at least on a level when assholes like me cannot nitpick each and every detail of this story, like I'm doing right now. Like, imagine just for 1 second that after our father blasted our ass in chapter 21, our dragon girl is not dying, but actually turns evil after becoming corrupted. Remember that trailer/cinematic? Now, hear me out. So, since Umbron is now in his Ultra Instinct form, and all of the corrupted are now following his will, wouldn't it make a lot of sense? I mean, since when do corrupted have their own free will again? But okay, we can even make it so we've resisted his call for the duration of the chapter where we are collecting the rings, only because we are special and dragons and blah 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 blah. But in the end, we finally succumb to the inevitable. And then... Now get this. The tables are now totally turned, and for the few additional chapters we are forced to fight Alear, who is now totally evil and beyond unhinged. Oh, and she's also massively buffed now, with the power of darkness or whatever the hell else. With our protagonist is now being recently reformed and now joined as well. And then, after we've cleared few maps where Alear chases us, in the final cutscene, after the quick skirmish and slight talks, it is quickly becoming obvious that Alear is a lot more powerful than Vale. Obeying the current insanity in her head, she is not pulling any punches, spewing toxic insulting left and right, while fucking Vale up. The duel becoming completely one-sided, but just before Alear could finish us off, the main cast of our army finally interferes, saving Vale's ass in the process. Not only buying the time for her to recover, but after a few dynamic skirmishes, even getting a slight upper hand on Alear. But of course, nothing is that easy. And somebody like Zephyr is here also, freeing Alear with some total bullshit move never seen before, and turning the tides once again. Well, turns out Zephyr wasn't sitting on her scaly ass, and she brought the entire army of the corrupted with her. The battle dramatically intensifies with additional troops arrive to the both armies. We fought bravely, but evil Alear is just a total powerhouse. No matter what we do, she's just too damn strong. And before she can finally finish Vale off the second time, now, this is the exact time for some totally ridiculous anime bullshit to happen, where Marth appears and starts explaining to us that being evil is not a very cash money idea. And then, after we obviously won't listen, he sends our ass into the Shadow Realm, where he purifies our soul with the power of the wish, or friendship, or whatever the hell else anime wibbery. And after that, under the yoke of the astonished gazes of everybody around, Alear finally getting rid of her evilness and returning to her senses. And in the end, we effortlessly purging Zephyr's ass because we're just that powerful now for some reason. And Martha appears once again and explaining to us that Alear is an emblem now even, since it was the only way on getting her back. I mean, am I a genius or what? Maybe even don't allow us returning to Somiel for all of this time. And yes, I had this idea about evil Alear the second I've seen the starting cinematic, way before I decided to rewatch Kill la Kill, so don't have any weird ideas. And if we'll continue for a bit, then what the hell is this world exactly? What are the paralogs? Any explanation of how the tomb from 3 houses and everything else came into existence here? Where did emblems even came from? Who summoned them and why can't we just resummon them after the end? Who even are emblems? Veronica just casually summoning their copies, and even herself, even though she is herself, is just an emblem. What? Byleth and three lords looking like they came here before the second part of the Three Houses narrative, but all of them already got their signature weapons, even though Edelgard had no access to her relic axe, even after the time skip in the Three Hopes. Are emblems just some kind of spiritual amalgamations of memories of heroes magically ripped from the time and space and compiled into a semi-physical shape or something? Like, what the fuck is going on here? And what was Lumera doing for the 1,000 years, letting her mortal enemy to be resurrected? Reading manga? Drinking tea with Sigurd? I'm not an expert, but when it is a common knowledge that one particular nation is worshipping the creature that can, well, you know, destroy the world, and is your absolute worst enemy that you yourself for some reason have not killed in the past, then it's a rather questionable gamble, no? And that you should probably do something about it, and not just sit on your ass? I'm just saying. Jesus, but can I have a story in a video game that I couldn't endlessly nitpick upon? Maybe Ans Deltarune will be finally finished. And trust me, I have much more to say about this story, but I don't want my first video to be over 4 hours long, so moving on. And now I wanna talk about the different kind of silliness, the gameplay related kind. So, right off the bat, my main issue with combat is... damn, this game is so pay to win! Day 1 DLC has 2 bracers in it, and both of them are ultra busted, like actually game changing. So not only the 3 Stooges are giving you bonus exp almost for free, not only they are giving your physical characters pretty good bonus stats, but also they have some super useful abilities. Poison and Shield were good, but this Flame Gambit, man, now this ability was used by me around like 200 times, maybe even more. The turn damage is good and all, but what's actually busted about this ability is that the units cannot move freely through it. So if you can use it and then kill the danger to your epicier, well, obviously it's preferable to use it on 3 range archer or a counter unit, so I just put it on epicier. Since this girl critted for 69 literally with her first shot of the run in chapter 3, and I was like, nice! And we were friends ever since. What I'm saying is that if you know how to use it, then it's like a totally different game where you have a bonus turns to the ship while enemies are slowly moving through your fire. And the funniest part is you can use it like 5 times in a row, even without resets, since engage is locking your current gambit. And you should, since sometimes you may play for like an hour just to end up with this kind of situation. Or this kind of situation, which is rather not ideal, I should say. Oh yeah, not to mention that with Byleth user nearby, you can actually use the upgraded version of your ult that will give you an extra turn right after. But wait, there is actually more. You also have 3 additional abilities. The Fallen Star will block anything next attack after you shoot something with it. Atrocity is just a hard-hitting melee skill. And Raging Storm! Now get this. After you smog something with your axe while using it, you have another extra turn. And then you can use House Unite and have another extra turn. So it's like 3 already in 1 turn, which is legit crazy. And yes, Raging Storm actually costs 3 engage turns, but come on, of course it's worth it, since you can kill like half of the enemy army in 1 turn, or finish the boss 100 to 0. And I mean 100 to 0 with all of his like 20 lives. And the cherry on top, Cloud's bow is actually a 3 range crit weapon So, I mean, Jee-esus, can you slow down with the overpowerness? But even with all of these, adult shenanigans are nothing in comparison to this girl. Everything about this character is legit OP. I don't even know where to begin even. The second life in some cases was the difference between let's get back and regroup and let's go ham and kill them all. Any unit, and especially melee, becoming off tanks or maybe even main tanks just like that. And especially it is a giga boost for Anna's gold farming abilities. Since if you will buy both luck stats from Tiki and Byleth, your luck will be around 40 mid-game without stat boosters. And that's a lot of procs. Assuming if you're a dumbass like me and spent a lot of money for donations, and we should talk about this idiocy later. What I wanna point at now is this bullshit. This is the single most broken thing in the entire game, I swear. It won't give you profits instantly, but if you'll run with it for like half of the game, then... So here's my Anna, who was using Tiki for the majority of the game and was used in almost all of the chapters. And this is my main character, who I've spent all of my stat boosters on outside luck and muck, and who is higher level than Anna. I can unequip Anna's luck bonuses and traits, and she still will have more than my dragon girl. Yes, Alear from the screen is close to being stat capped, but trust me, it was the same through almost all of my game. And I'm sure it's not only about that I was feeding her kills for gold farming purposes. I mean, it's legit crazy how OP Starsphere is. Even Alfred became a reliable fighting force in my army. Yes, once in a Blood Moon you will still have 1 stat level ups, but overall, you will see 5+ for the majority of cases. And right after I have realized it, I put it on everybody. And in time they became beast-like demigod creatures. Even on Medinin, just destroying everything. For the majority of final chapters, I was legit toying with my enemies, feeling pressure only in the uncapped DLC paralogs. And I'm playing on Medinin. I have no idea how easy it could have been on anything below Medinin. They told me that my girl Celine is a bad character, since she has mid growth in Stra and Mag, resulting in her shining in nothing. Now look at this monster! Not even Celica, this girl double tapping almost anything 100 to 0 with Ignis procs, and with a few kills actually anything via Speed Taker. Yes, I know that she's not ideal and maybe it's just cope, but in my run she was like second use characters for kills outside Anna. I'm just saying. Oh yeah, and also, Tiki gives AoE 1 range aura that gives both of the death stats to her and anybody else, which is legit crazy too. So, let's combine all of the above and then play chapter 11, where all of our rings are supposed to be stolen. It's legit day and night, with or without it. For some reason, genius developers decided to not add those BS bracers into the main narrative, even though they were available from day one. Absolute pay-to-win barbarity. It's as if they finished the game long ago, and then decided to make the bracers literally the last minute. Why not just add them into the main story with phrases like, well, at least we have our bracers? Or even disable the bracers for the few chapters? So I can play the game exactly how it was supposed to be played? Or should I unequip them myself? Because I like challenge or something? Whatever. Same old, same old. Well, anyway. And the only other combat dumbassery that I wanna talk about is actually non-DLC character Corin. Now this girl is most certainly number 3 on the BS meter. I was holding her on Ivy since she has 6 move plus flying plus can use Torrent. Oh, and also Corin herself gives bonus mark. Yes, the burst ability will do almost 0 damage, but it doesn't matter at all, since when they finally given you Seedal, oh boy, you can then casually stop the majority of the enemy force 2 times in 1 turn, from long range even. I'm not even talking about Byleth or Veronica usage here. And oh yeah, I abused this girl for a lot of times. That sounded a bit interesting. What I'm saying is, considering that enemies are stopped in place even if you miss, this is maybe the most ridiculous thing in combat. And then you just kinda laugh maniacally while peeling the corners of their army as if it was a skin of a potato, while they are screaming in agony, unable to do anything. V stands for virtue, W stands for war crimes. But actually, we're not really fighting humans, so who cares? Or wait, were they humans before? Whatever. I mean, surely this information is totally irrelevant. Oh yeah, and it works on bosses too. So, good luck fighting with your inflated stats when you cannot move, you dummy. But wait, there is more. There is actually another ultra busted combo about Corin. And it's of course if we are pairing her with the best girl Yunaka, since now her personal ability becoming an AoE dodge zone. And since Yunaka is a covert, it's... You can tell me all you want that Zelkov is a better rogue, but every single time I'll say that you should be put into the insane asylum, just for her passive alone, and the fact that she has a super fat start via using XP boost from Mika's ult on cooldown. She is one of the most busted characters in the game. She literally boosted at least 30% of my Maddening run alone. And if you wanna see her be completely ridiculous, just pair her with Corin and laugh in dodge tank while killing mages who ignore terrain bonuses. But even if you won't, Yunaka actually has an okayish magic resist stat. So, unless you're trying to solo 3+ mages alone or an extreme unlock, it is all okay. It is actually okay to such an extent that I deliberately stopped using Corin on her because of how gosh darn OP it looked at the time, replacing her with Erika and speccing her into a wolf girl, who has 6 move and bonus stats by the way. Oh, and a wolf tail. I mean, before playing this game I've heard that in 3 houses dodge tanking was a lot worse. And yeah, I won't talk about Balith's obvious overpowerness, but there were moments in 3 houses when my dismounted Ingrid tanked like half of the enemy army in the forest while taking 1 hit per 5 maps. But this game, oh, this shit turned to 11 and beyond, let me tell you. I mean, there's an enchant that gives you 40 avoidance by the way, and once I used it on Liberation, I legit seen that my Dragon Girl got hit maybe once in around 10 maps with like 3% chance, after I was forced to replace Marth with the female Marth, who gives additional avoid even if there are allies nearby. So everybody who is telling you that it was worse before are, let's say, a bit challenged. The only thing about dodge tanking is that when you have so much evo that it's becoming above the hit rate of the enemies, they actually won't attack you and will just move past your character. It's the same with armor and resist too, so keep that in mind. Oh, and also, Corin reduces enemy stats, because of course she can. What a girl. So yeah, Earth Day 1 DLC Bricers and Corin, at least a little bit. It's just too damn much if used properly. All the other characters are kinda on point, I guess, maybe, and absolutely balanced, not breaking the game, like at all. What the fuck? Well anyway, moving on. What to nitpick about next? Oh right, the gosh darn donations. Now this is the biggest money laundering scheme, overshadowed only by the current unspecified administration shenanigans. The only place that you should actually spend your money on is Brodia, since it's a significant bonus to drop upgrade materials from each map you've cleared. But wait, you say, what about the skirmishes? Well, you see, the skirmishes aren't really a thing on Maddening. As of right now, I've cleared the whole game. And guess how many skirmishes popped up for me for the entire duration of my playthrough? It was 5. Just 5. And one of them was even low level for some reason, where 3 or 4 units gave like half of the level of exp and everything else was almost 0. I still have no idea what the actual hell was this skirmish, since all of those enemies were far below my level, almost receiving one-shots even from newly obtained Mavier. The goddamn genius developers strike once again and make it so you cannot level up all of your low-level genes and lapises on highest difficulty until you literally beat chapter 26. Even though half of this game is about character interactions with one another, and you totally could do it in 3 houses. Oh, but wait, there is more. After the chapter 11, all the new characters that joins you outshine the majority of your own characters by far. I mean, look at the freaking Kagetsu, for example. This guy is a monster. He had almost the same stats as my Dragon Girl when he joined, and I used stat boosters on her too, so she was by far the strongest combatant. So if you liked your early game Chloes or Frams and Clans as characters, you just kinda have to stop using them, since they are legit inferior in comparison, and you cannot even level them up to match new characters since there are no skirmishes lol. Don't get me wrong. Of course you can clear anything with anyone if you know what you're doing, but why would I sabotage myself on maddening when I have 80 stat characters, and the next moment they are giving me 115 and 125 base stats totally busted new characters? Brilliant big brain move there, cringe Tendo. Just for this alone I am removing 1 ball from the final score of this game. The fattest L imaginable in my book when I'm trying to help everyone in every game, since I'm an idiot or something. Oh yeah, if we are speaking about leveling up weak characters, I really enjoyed what they did to my boy Wonder, who's like the weirdest unit only masochists will invest into, since he is starting in the advanced class and till the mid of the game gaining almost no X because of it, resulting in him not getting level ups, like, at all. What the actual lunacy is this? Can I perhaps have the option to change his class early game? Or maybe not have him in advanced at all? My guy stewarded and protected my sleepiness till the grey hair, and this is his just reward that he's almost unusable later on? I mean, look, he's even cucked in the DLC. Literally the worst stats. Like, what the hell is this? Damn, Nintendo. But how good you actually are with your awesome and totally non-idiotic ideas. So, yeah. Oh, and returning to donations. Considering that you can barely have any gold from elsewhere outside rare procs early game from Anna and like 4 something of the main campaign missions, donations are a complete and utter scum. It is better to add your last money to Sam Bankman's free dirty bumhole, or to the pockets of some bathing Twitch wench than to waste them on this bullshit. I mean, at some point I had to sell items from the characters I'm not using just to buy some stuff, since there is almost no income in this game for some reason, and I wasted my monies on donos, only later realizing that I'm stupid and now I have no gold, just like in my real life. Oh, and there are also S-rank special weapons, but to unlock them you need level 5 donations, which is like 90k gold, so good luck farming infinite spawns with Anna, champ. Oh, almost forgot. All of this brings me to my next nitpick. You actually cannot adopt animals without tier 2 donation, so you kinda have to. And animals, or rather one specific animal, is absolutely ultra busted. It is well known from our early history that the dog is a man's best friend. Literally every other animal is almost useless. And then there are dogs, or just like I call them, gods. Now this is another part of Nintendo is a complete cringe show, since this is just utterly broken. You're only using dogs for a whole game, or you're a big dummy, because dogs now, get this, can bring you any ingot, no matter the rarity, each time you're visiting Somniel after clearing the mission. And let me tell you, I've seen 5 silver drops more than just once. It's a rarity of course, but still, what the actual hell is this? I mean, 5 silvers or 5 fishes from cats? You decide. Yet again, absolute barbarity. Dogs should be nerfed to only drop iron. End of story. So, What else, what else? Maybe let's talk about dumb useless traits? Like who would actually unironically delay good traits and spend their precious SP on something like minus damage from access, min-maxing tankiness for specific enemies when even on maddening any combat can end with one random crit? Or maybe even not so random? And have you seen the crits in this game? Look, I've played a lot of games in my life, but in Emblem series, they are the most ridiculous of all the other games. My Chimera usually does 120 sandstorm crits on any target really, and since she has like 35 dex at chapter 20, that is not a rare occurrence, let me tell you. I mean, speaking of crits, would you rather choose this Chrome and Robin crit damage on your physical anybody and just go with killer weapons? Or go with a minus damage from a specific weapon for 1k, Alex? Ridiculous. And there are a lot of such dumbass, sometimes overly expensive, almost unusable traits. Erika's dodge trait is maybe the greatest example. Literally useless on everyone outside only Ivy, who's like the unluckiest girl imaginable, but even for her it's rather a waste of space. It's almost like developers are not realizing that in this game they added only 2 trait slots or something, so of course he will go only for the absolute best and OP. Whatever. Of course I can talk more about all of these and myriads of other minor issues, but holy shit, it's like 45 minutes already, so let's just move to the next part. Well, yes, I know, all I did in this video so far is critique, but this is still a good game that many people were working on, and in some places it clearly shows. I cannot say for how much exactly, but I still kinda enjoyed the experience. Some combat maps like Ike's or even Sigurd's Paralog, for example, were so hard that I really had my challenge cravings tickled there to the absolute max, clearing it only after like 7 or 8 tries. Partially it was because, well, of course I'm a crazy person and I started it right away when they popped up. Remember my screen from before? It was the final turn! And I really appreciate it when it feels like it's super hard, not because it's a total unwinnable bullshit, but because you have to work harder and think better. And those two were precisely what I'm talking about. The music, criteria that I'm looking maybe the most at, was pretty good too actually, maybe exceptional even. Like this moment for example, literally the first enemy turn of the game starts and I was like what the hell is this? But then like 2 seconds later I was like, well damn, that's pretty good actually. I mean, it's pretty short, but unironically one of my favorite tracks. And also, how cool is this to have different music on enemy turns? I don't know about you, but for me, it's greatly helped with the immersion, that looming aura of pressure from the enemies. You feel me? Maybe only Maddeners will understand what I'm talking about, but it was like this for me. Chapter 10 in particular just totally won me over, when it's a normal version at first, but then you're destroying the gate and there is a cool chorus at that, and I was like, wow. Now that's a good touch. And then you're fighting Hortensia, and I swear on me mom, this amazing music scene happened, exactly like it is in this clip. I mean, from her perspective, the enemy came to kill her father, and maybe already killed her sister, and now she's hopeless to stop us, escaping barely alive. And then, right after that, for the first time we hear this part. And I was like, god damn if it isn't amazing! This music is close to being perfect to this moment. And trust me, getting such praise from me is almost the impossible situation. If only I could have erased my memories about the cringe that happened later on. Or like in chapter 21, where you have to move forward because there is infinite spawn from all the angles. Like literally more than 30 enemies at the end. And the plan is to get maximum amount of exp and not just 100 to 0 Veil in one turn. And the enemy turn music was already super ominous and pressuring. But then, after you're engaged in Veil, there's a different, unique BGM for her fight too, that is also quite good. And I was like, wow man, you can slow down a bit? it was already pretty amazing. If only I could have erased my memories about the cringe that... I mean, I kinda really enjoy all of these little details that are helping with the immersion. So much so that I'm looking forward to the music in the Warriors game if it will ever come out, since some tracks in Three Hopes were upgraded to such an extent that I even saved them, and me saving something is like a super rarity, let me tell you. Oh, just shut up about this stupid music already, we get it! Oh, well anyway, moving on. Despite the hate from the internet dummies, the protagonist of the game had actually left a pretty positive feeling in me. She looked totally ridiculous at first, but in time she kinda grew up on me, and especially since her looks unironically make perfect sense in the story. Her innocence and level-headed normalcy in comparison with almost everybody else was something that I personally could relate to, since I am most non-crazy person you'll probably ever encounter. Oh, if only I'd started my YouTube career like 10 years ago to prove the bullshit I just said, like I originally wanted to. But alas, so you kinda have to believe my words now. Oh yeah, and finally, a protagonist that can talk!
It would be nice for just one Zelda game Link to not be a lobotomite who actually can speak, so that way it'd be like, oh my god, a fucking talking hand.
Tell you what, after playing stupid ass Genshin Impact that I'll make a video sometime later on, I legit started to hate that notion when the main character of the story is that silent plank of wood. Imagine for yourself how he's supposed to be speaking bullshit, avatar of your will. And if in ancient times of Dragon Age regions it could have maybe worked, but now, in 2023, it's kinda cringe, not gonna lie. I won't play any high budget game where main character can't talk. Just compare this game and Three Houses, for example. In Three Houses, Byleth was an emotionless creep even in the story itself. I mean, I don't get it. Just who is actually enjoying when protagonist is that charisma black hole? But this girl, I kinda liked her. I mean, look at this. It's like night and day with Three Houses. A character whose story you actually wanna follow. And no, I'm not saying it all because I choose to play a girl version. In Three Houses, believe me or not, I played only male Byleth, and I cleared this game 2 times. Actually, usually I'm playing only male characters in story games where you can choose because I enjoy doing so. This game and Three Hopes were the only 2 exceptions, because I like the hair, I guess? I don't know, stop judging me. Moving on. Man, the donkey video gamer had me brainwashed into the belief that Nintendo dorks are the cream of the crop or gigachas or whatever. I'm trying to praise it as much as I can, saying only the objective things. But this game overall feels to me like a massively wasted potential. All things could have been a lot better, but for some idiotic reasons, related to the excessive drug consumption on the workplace I assume, they just don't. And especially considering that this game is supposed to be an anniversary. I mean...
Purchasing a Nintendo game honestly feels fucking horrible, because you're buying something from a company that doesn't respect you and actually just fucking straight up hates you. It's like buying clothes from your high school bully. Like, damn, the clothes are fire, but god damn it, the person behind it hates me and literally spits on me every chance they get. Like, it just sucks. Like, Nintendo makes such bangers, but the company is just actual trash.
Minus the bangers part, of course, because for me the ultimate feeling of laziness presented in everything here. For example, for each class you have only one grid animation. I mean, the Dragon Girl and the cooler Dragon Girl have 2 different moves, so why not just make 2 for the advanced class? And that's the same for every noble too, actually. I mean, look at this shit. Rules of nature! And after we promote her, we never see it again. Why? In Three Houses, Byleth at least could slice people vertically or horizontally. I mean...
Lordling? 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 Gods preserve ye. Gods preserve ye. Gods preserve ye. Gods preserve ye.
You feel me? I'll never understand this thing in particular in video games. But why not make at least 2 more animations for each character and like 10 more voice lines? You want to tell me that dramatic increase in spiciness and overall enjoyment from the fun bullshit that is happening on the screen would not by far overshadow the costs of doing so?
Shoot me.
That 100% will result in far more sales even? Total delusions or I'm stuck in the past and I can't get out kind of situation. But actually, let's just forget about all of that. Sometimes I'm watching this internet guy who has a huge problem with the alcohol and also with his long-lost lover Tatiana that he's talking about in 99% of his videos. And so this guy is occasionally trying to fix movies, creating a whole new narrative and situations for the characters in question, making the overall story objectively better. So what I'm saying is, let us pretend that we are in a perfect world here, where somebody like Karl Marx or any of the big tyrants, or at least John Money never existed, where there are better versions of all of us and this game also, where character animations don't clip in default models in 2023, even in cutscenes. Where I'm not feeling that everything here can only happen in a video game, as if we are defending or assaulting giant castles with like 12 people. Where are the armies? What armies? They exist only in cutscenes, where your choices through the story actually change something in the story. All of my A supports between characters mattered only for combat bonuses and not the endings. At least I think it was the case. No? I had 70% of characters with A supports between each other, and nothing really substantial came out of it. I mean, even though we see Seedle with Yunaka literally on the picture in the title screen, Yunaka just vanished to God knows where in the ending. No matter what I do, Alfred still dies if you're not giving him the S ring? Alfred? More like Alf dead? Am I right? And what a stupid thing these illnesses are, considering that we have a literal healing magic in this world that can heal even major damage to your body. But who actually knows what the hell happened, since I cannot read that fast? I mean, look at this. What do I press to pause or slow it down? Should I make screenshots perhaps? Am I stupid? And this problem exists in previous titles too. Whatever. So, let us all pretend that none of it happened, and we are in a different universe where Spider-Man is a pig or something. Let's imagine the actually better version of this game, in my humble opinion at least. And so, numero uno. If we are talking about gameplay, remember how they added this absolute bullshit? That clownish gacha mechanic with additional rings that nobody liked? So imagine in a perfect game that it would have been like this. If you have enough bond with the emblem in question, let's say 10, then you can now inherit one of the mini ring traits that you've opened. Oh yeah, you now have extra slot for traits, but only for the ring traits. Why doing so? Well, just look at the amount of emblems you have with all of the DLCs. It's a lot more than just 12. And since Emblem Ring Power is by far the better option than anything that Mini Ring can give to you, through my whole playthrough I've used them only for the moment when they stole all of my rings in Chapter 10, and never again. It feels like a massively wasted mechanic. And yet again, I've played only on Maddening. If you're a hard player or, God help me, normal player, then I legit cannot imagine the situation you'll ever waste your time on gachaing those S-tier mini rings. And especially when you already have more emblem rings than the actual characters you can put in battle. So by adding this option with mini ring trait transfer, I'm kinda saving this mechanic, or at least trying to save it. And now just add more unique and fun traits to the mini rings, since they are in limited variety, and for me it would have been pretty cool. Secondly, as I was saying, we have a lot more emblems than the characters we can put on the ground, especially when we collect all the bracers. Like, when was the last time you've used Leaf on Maddening? Don't lie now. And that's pretty sad actually, since the emblems should not be benched in the game that is all about the nostalgia about the old games. So, I've got an idea. In our perfect game, after some attunements or specific chapters cleared, you can now wear 2 rings. But there is a catch. There will be main slot and the secondary slot, and unless you're engaged, all the secondary stats and passives provided by the emblem will be cut in half. I mean, for the second ring only. For example, Leaf's -7 from the weapons that he counters will transform to -3.5, or even just 3. We can even make it only 30%, whatever. You can wear mini rings in the secondary slots as well, but if the trait is the same as the inherited one, then it will be only half as effective. And yes, you can create a situation when you will shoot thunder 3 times. So what? My Lycitia could casually double tap anything from 4 range in 3 houses, in the middle of the game already. And we had skills like bolting and salience and bow that could shoot 4 times from 4 range, and then you run away with Kanto. So don't give me that bullshit that it will be OP. Listen, I care only about improving gameplay here. If it is OP in numbers, then just make enemies more sturdy, especially on Medinin. Make them smarter, so they will get back and heal undamaged. Make them use some specific abilities like gambits from rivals, for example, or at least Roy's advance or Ike's reposition skill. Make additional spawns, more ambushes, I don't know, anything to make life harder without it being barely playable and stupid. Oh yeah, almost forgot. Why the hell rings are giving specific stat bonuses? Isn't this game supposed to be about usefulness of the emblems and not their stats? I mean, Lucina is great and all, but Martha is giving me strat, dex and speed, and she's giving me luck. And luck is kinda a bit of a XD stat. It's useful only on some characters, and on most it's like totally useless. Either tweak stats a bit so some of them will provide us with more gameplay procs or something, or make rings to give your characters their top 3 stats. For example, luck would give you a proc when sometimes all the damage you deal will be increased by 5% for each 10 points, or the same with damage reduced, trigger 20% plus 30% of luck. Why not? Or even something like, you will sometimes find additional items from the enemies you've downed, or from the ground even, with the same trigger. I mean, it's not a rocket science really. Like, how hard is it to make this stat at least a little bit more fun? Huh, developers? Now let's see, what else? Maybe when you promote a character into the same or even a different class after the max level, you'll have better percentage bonuses on passives, in time making them truly great masters of their art. Same thing could be done with their personals too after you've beaten at least half of the game. I mean, I really love that animation when character is happy about being promoted, even though that promotion gives literally nothing this time. Just stupid. Oh yeah, and how about something like adjutant system from 3 houses? I mean, no skirmishes nation attacked and we're all out of skirmishes, but I still wanna play on hardest difficulty, and now get this, I wanna level up and support all the characters. I know, crazy. So why the hell not? You can have up to 3 or even infinite amount of adjutants. And before blah blah and blah blah, that's OP. There are 41 characters in this game, by the way, and you can place on the field maximum of 14. And that's only in final chapters, so usually it's a lot less. Adjutants will get some experience and support with each assist and especially kill. Oh, and a bit support with nearby units too. Problem solved. At least somehow. But seriously, why no skirmishes, man? Any explanations? Dumbass Tendo? Whatever. Moving on. Some of the emblem weapons could have been adjusted too. For example, I've barely ever used something like Sigur's Brave Lance, since hit rate is kinda clownish, and I'm not upgrading this shit, nor can I enchant it, because of course emblem weapon upgrade system is also totally clownish and skippable, when you need to play for 100 more hours just to upgrade 1 or 2. Amazing. Gorin's weapons are not the greatest choice as well. They kinda just do damage, with low hit even. But she's already pretty OP, so whatever. But Leaf has no excuse. Leaf's last weapon gives plus 10 luck, and luck is the greatest stat. Look, maybe I'm just stupid, and somebody in the comments will tell me, man, you are stupid, and Leaf is actually ultra busted on this and that character. But while it is indeed truth that I am kinda stupid if you think about it, I'm comparing here with something like Binding Blade, or Ike's sword at least, or Lucina Mart XP weapons, or a Mage Annihilator aka Camilla's Axe. Actually, any weapon that is providing bonus against something or giving good bonus stats. And instantly we see how plus 10 luck isn't really that great, right? Look, I'm constantly dunking on Leaf, but you totally should not worry about him. I've heard from the friend that in the end he got recognized by the Kiryuan family and got married even. I never bothered to check, but I'm sure that he lived happily ever after. Well, anyway, and the only other major imaginary thing that I wanted to talk about is I've seen people on the streams that are obsessed with Iron Man challenge, and it's always something different for each streamer. No resets, no time jam, no insert specific emblem, no everything above. And so the ultra genius me came with a cool idea here. How about we make a true Iron Man challenge? Introducing Ultra Maddening mode. I have no idea why something like this isn't a thing yet, by the way, but oh well. So, in a new hardcore mode, all enemies got plus 5% stats, and bosses got plus 20%. The time crystal has only one charge now, increased to 3 through the game upgrades. I mean, we had 3 at the beginning of 3 houses, no? So why the hell is 10 on maddening in this game again? No reason. But wait, you say, you can still reset infinitely, so yeah, you'd waste time, but it's still doable. Oh, you don't know me. You can reset only once in each chapter now, and if you fail second time, it is what it is. And now for the funniest part. If your characters will die, they disappear forever. Even the narrative will change. This is actually what should have been added to all of these games. So yeah, I don't care. Make different cutscenes in the future games with or without dead characters. Now, with the AI assistance, surely we can make it work somehow. Like, imagine this game where your mistakes actually matter to the narrative too. But wait, there is more. How about if we have more and more casualties through a run, then the mood of the characters will differ. Some of their supports will be unavailable, and some will change completely, adding anger towards the forces of evil if their sublink will die, for example, making them unrecognizable from when we first met them. And even the ending will be remade. Like it should, because having one ending in RPG is so amazing. I mean, wow, Nintendo! Remember how in some oldest games true ending was only available if you'd beat it on the hardest difficulty? For example, if you'll feed around half of the cast, and especially the nobles, then in the last battle we couldn't summon our emblems back through the power of friendship or whatever the hell that was. But now, while performing some kind of satanic fell dragon ritual that we shall discuss with you in private, before the chapter or even earlier, since we know in advance that emblems might vanish in the portal. The ritual that we won't need if the majority of our cast will survive, since their hopes and dreams will feed our power or whatever else anime bullshit. And so, in the last battle, the emblems are summoned back, but only on a borrowed time, via the usage of both of our souls. Like that thing that Lumera did transferring her power to us. And now the last battle truly becoming the battle to the end. Even the music will be different from usual heroic to something much darker. And then we can even add timer to it. And after some time, emblems will start to vanish, leaving your characters powerless. And when that happened, you will have a choice to use the rest of your power, if you cannot win without it, amplifying the might of all of the remaining emblems. But if you do that, you will die in the end, even if you will win and save the world. And even if you won't use all of your power, yours and your sister's lifespans are now severely shortened, which will result in a not so pleasant ending. Like, gosh darn it, tell me that it's not better than the actual game. And it's just one little example of what we can do with this story, if your writer is just a common idiot and not the advanced one. And I can come up with many more of such ideas if you want me to talk for another hour or so. Like, in a good ending version, the second to last phase of the last boss could have been in a ruined burned Somniel. What? Did he steal this idea from the DLC? No, I in fact did not. This dumbass segment was written way before this DLC release date. So yeah, the last boss has multiple phases now, where the second part of your crew, that you're also supposed to level up now, even the little children, and the game will warn you about it in advance. Or even auto-level all the weak characters for you to fight in chances at least. So all of them are now will fight some giga demonic entity, which is summoned from that portal from another world. And we cannot proceed with the main party since someone will feed from its power like he did from Dark Emblems. And it will all be on the timer too. But then, now, get this little doggy spirit appears and transforms into a giant doggy and then starts fucking the enemy up. I mean, he's there for a reason, no? I was wondering if he will play a bigger role, but of course no, because Nintendo is a good company. And then everyone is in flames, being almost dead already. And then, out of nowhere, a fucking alien invasion. And then... Oh, just shut up already. Why wouldn't you just shut up? You lunatic! Nobody cares! Yeah, I have lots and lots of stupid ideas. But imagine the triumph of clearing it on a good ending through all of this bullshit above. Oh, a man can dream. I think that people who are rarely experience greatness in their lives eventually starting to enjoy mediocrity way too much, assuming that this is normal nowadays. Maybe one day I will find a game like the one I imagined here, where totally hardcore and brutal ending can happen, but also totally heroic and casualties-free one. And it all depends on your actions. Do you know a game like this? Write it down in the comments, please. And yes, I've already played Undertale, and I mean a long-ass game like The Witcher 3 length at least, and that is not a bugged mess like Cyberpunk. So, something else please. Look, I know that my examples sound a bit gibberish, but come on, use some imagination, damn it! I can assure you that all of your greatest franchises were created from the same spark of inspiration that sometimes sound a bit sketchy at first. I mean, go read the script to any Star Wars movie without seeing it on a big screen. It's total nonsense, no? And yet, even though I absolutely loathe it, it's still a massively profitable franchise overall. What I'm ultimately saying is, we should always strive for the better. Or you want to tell me that the total mediocrity of this game is the only thing we deserve for like, how much? 90 buckaruskis? If you'll count everything? Bollocks! Bollocks, I tell you! Gosh darn Zephyr was so smart, but then she just gave the ring to Vale on that ship, even though she of all people should have known or even sensed that she's not in her evil form. Wasn't she like a super powerful mage or something?
Come, my lady, we must hurry. Is something the matter?
Zephyr, give me your ring.
What are you planning?
Just do it.
Very well.
My ring, you say? Excuse me, but can you please show me your red eyes first? Just to be sure. And why are you even on this ship still? Aren't you aware by now that all of them are assholes who are going to brainwash you into evil? Just jump with the ring and swim to me, like right now. No? And the ring just flew to her as if Zephyr threw it on the ship. And what if she'd be clumsy, like that time with the crystal, and just dropped it into the water? Whoops! I legit laughed my ass off because how absolutely absurd that was. Like, what is this writing? A little kid wrote this? Maybe it was a pig? The same pig from Plinket's Star Wars reviews? You tell me. And now to the final topic of this video. And go on there, chief, just 8 pages of script left. You're almost there. The cringe is almost over. Now I wanna have a few minutes about this last DLC that I wanted to make another video on. Actually, I could've, or rather should've, make many mini videos about this game, so it could have been at least somehow watchable. But, you see, I don't want this channel to be associated with Fire Emblem in the future, so I just wanna talk about it for a bit. For a bit. And then move on. Well, anyway, so the story in it In the Three Houses side story, I could have pointed at nonsensical things around 5 or 6 times. But here, I legit could have made an entire cinema scenes video about it and dinged the hell out of it for like 20 minutes straight, non-stop.
I'm sorry, Dave. I can't do this anymore. Okay, I think the sin counter just went full self-destruct.
You know? The point is, the story was ultra incoherent. Everything in it should have happened after chapter 26, or at least for me to lose memory again in order for it to make any sense. Or even an entirely different story where everything is focused on the fact that you're an emblem now. Everything here was yet again saved by the gameplay. Almost all of the missions, and especially the last one, were pretty good to be honest. When even with all of my knowledge and BS abuses, I was forced to play 2 final maps with my chapter 26 setup. And even then I barely managed to first try some of the missions. Sometimes winning by some ultra lucky bullshit, like when my main character Vale decided to just dodge 50%ers like 3 times in a row and then crit with like 8% 2 times. Or wait. So here is a legit epic story of how this dummy just randomly blocked the way and I couldn't heal my literally 1 HP dragon girl. Healing her with just sailing is useless, since you can't out-heal Wyvern damage with physic unless she dodges. And she of course didn't, like 4 times in a row. Killing Wyvern with lean is almost useless too, because it respawns like a turn later. But wait, did he actually block my path randomly? But of course he did not, because this shit happened. And I was like, are you for real? In 1 turn? So yeah, one of the 2 gunners is actually shooting Alear too. Haha, random one-shots are so funny. By that point I had 0 crystal uses already, and all I could realistically do is to kill the one who shoots at Alear, or at least debuff him with Corin this exact turn. Remember what I was saying about having Corin on 6 move and 3 range character? So yeah, I somehow managed to debuff him this turn by Dancing Ivy, but I was all but too late with the realization that there was a mistake and I should have moved 1 step closer actually, because once I moved near the room, blasting Gunner's ass with Thoron, this asshole instantly forgets about his sister and jumping on my face blocking the path. So, I cannot move inside, I cannot kill him this turn, and Mikai is unavailable too, since I'm a dumbass and I forgot to charge up Seedle like I did in my previous try. At this point I was playing this map for like 4 hours already, just for the little split in my army trying to kill everything on the screen, and to just start it over because of some random BS was not very bueno to say the least. And then this part of the BGM starts playing while I'm watching how this schmuck is wickedly smiling, as if knowing my situation. And I was all about, are you serious? Am I unironically about to lose? There is no escape. All of my hopes and dreams are ruined. It was the end. But then, in a typical anime fashion, Eureka! It was like an angel touched me, blessed my mind with its divine wisdom. The forbidden mechanic that was barely useful through my entire playthrough. Some units are unbreakable, but it doesn't mean that they cannot be pushed with the slam weapons. And so I did exactly that, with the only 2-hander available in the entire campaign. And after that happened, Hortensia just flew through and healed my literally 1 HP dragon girl. Look, I am not an emotional person, like at all, but at this moment, even I was clapping my hands like a toy monkey, while shouting some random gibberish about how this new dragon boy needed to suck my goddamn ass. By the way, even after all of that, I still could have lost with 1% chance, because this game is great. What I'm saying is, the shit was pretty lit at times, yo. Moments like this is the exact reason why I'm still playing this game despite the story being a complete fish paste. Really enjoyed it. But even this story is nothing compared to the last mission. And so, chapter 6. First of all, it was so close to becoming something truly special in this game, like this level that I've described earlier from my imagination. But, of course, it's Nintendo we are talking about here. So, after my reset number 5, it became beyond obvious that it was never properly tested on maddening. Because if you're having these absolutely ridiculous thoughts about, well, you know, trying to follow the boss and actually do the mechanics with the circles, and killing lords before he's taking their souls in the process, then it's not a maddening for you, buddy. It's a mega ultra ridiculedening instead. The amount of complete astronomical bullshit on this level was just through the roof. You just cannot play it like you theoretically supposed to. Look at this, for example. So this is the third platform. Look at my absolutely hopeless position, because you just cannot move your units here properly while closing backline circles without spamming whyy-yy rescue, which I didn't use this time. And now look at the next turn. Somehow I've managed to pull out this truly miraculous escape. Kill Timera in the process, who is activated 2 turns before that, and she can also fly and has 7 move, by the way, because of course she has it. But also I've managed to not lose a single unit. Then this exact turn he summons circles. Skip 3 in the back. Well, no biggie, I'll just run, I guess. And so the turn after that, I've managed to kill the vanguard of this literal army that activates like 3 turns before that moment and moving towards me. Managed to stop 3 emblems with my patented Ivy Core in tech in the process, and was about to just move forward. Victory was at hand. And then this happened. So yeah, the boss just decided to skip 1 turn and destroy the platform after the turn 2 instead of 3. And I was like,
What the hell is even that?
I want the entire Earth incinerated!
haha, Nintendo, you so funny. I mean, maybe it was intentional, who knows? And they're actually forcing you to compromise with what you wanna kill or give to the dragon. And if so, I guess I'm okay with this. It's just, it was a little bit disappointing that no matter what you do, you just couldn't do it all. And especially since at least 1/3 of your units are over-nerfed in stats for some reason, including your main character. Look, maybe all I'm saying here is a total nonsense for a person who started playing after the last DLC, and all of your characters are stuffed with 8.4k traits via the well abuse. But of course, I'm not doing any of those, since I've cleared the whole game before the implementation of the well, and I'm not replaying it. But there is actually another possibility. Before blaming anybody else, smart person is looking in the mirror. Maybe I'm just bad with my tactics. Maybe my setup isn't optimal for this level. Maybe I should have benched somebody and take at least 1 archer for like 30 trillion flyers that is on this map. It is sadly my motto to never check anything for advices in advance. And I've noticed fairly large amount of micro mistakes when I was searching moments for this video. But saying all that, if you're unironically telling me that you've cleared it first try blindly without any guides on maddening, while trying to close all the reinforcement holes without spending 50 hours on the well, knowing exactly the traits and characters you're going to use on this particular map, then you're either a liar or a 0.0001% god. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm the best of the best, by far I'm not. Most of the time I'm not thinking that hard about each and every micro detail about my unit actions, and that's of course sometimes costing me additional crystal uses. But as somebody who could casually take rank 1 world in World of Warcraft raids many times, that were booster oriented even, full of AFK clients, while scratching my ass listening to music and watching funny videos on the second monitor. Not to mention that I was pretty close to being rank 1 in League of Legends back in Season 4 on EU West no less. I humbly think of myself as a slightly above average video gamer. And I really like it when I'm forced to play absolutely seriously at my max and still have a chance to lose. And god damn, that's exactly how it's supposed to be on the hardest difficulty. But maybe, just maybe, this level is a little bit too hard if you wanna play it the way it was supposed to be played. No? Am I taking crazy pills here? At least I think it was supposed to be like this. I mean, why do you even create the circle mechanic if you can barely use it? Because on YouTube, for example, I found only 2 videos with Madden in full clear, and both of those players were skipping circles. Whatever. So in the end, eventually I just gave up about following the boss. Spent all of my SP tomes on additional speed takers for Ivy and Yunaka, and Draconic Hex for my protagonist Vale, who could now nerf up to 4 or even 6 targets from 4 range in one turn, since she was using Celica. And then I've decided to try at least this challenge, to kill all the heroes myself without dragon consuming their souls, and to not lose a single unit. Oh yeah, and since I'm quite stubborn, I've also decided to do it with my main game setup. And you just do not wanna use Micaiah on Sido this exact level. The only level where it actually matters to put her on Hortensia, since she is flying 6 move and can even occasionally save staves. And you also need dances. But since I'm a dumbass, I still decided to do it this way. And what happened next? Well, now, this was maybe the most fun I've had in Fire Emblem. Chapter 26 is totally inferior compared to this map. Suffice to say, this challenge is virtually impossible if you're not spamming Soren's Taunt like 95% of all of the turns. And if you're not here by like turn 3, then you'll most likely won't be able to do it. Oh yeah, and the most important bit, you have to trade rescue stays constantly via convoy or directly, and just spam it. And especially on Engage Micaiah. In the end, I've had like 7 uses from all of the staves on the map, and Hortensia saved like 3 of them. And if you do it correctly, you can have Micaiah engage back in one turn while using Fortify. So I deliberately damaged some of my characters for it to work. And then the most important part. Outside the final platform, just forget about these damn circles. Maybe I've closed like 1 at platform number 5, but that was about it. If you wanna kill Fugado, Soren Taunt your tank who is in range with him, and Warp Ragnarok or lean ult his ass at like turn 2, and he will just come right to you near the entrance to platform 3. Otherwise, without taking any damage, he will just stand there AFK until the dragon arrives. And then, after dealing with him, just move towards platform number 5, killing everything in the process while spamming mass rescue, where the real hardcore battle begins, between you, Timera, Diamant's army of like 15 units plus himself, and Salem, who is here also with few ground troops and some wyverns. But wait, there is more! If you're not closing the circles, you'll have to fight some of those too. Because doggies have 6 move. Because of course they are. Oh, but wait, there is even more! There will be constant bombardment from these wonderful units too, who can shoot you from third of the map and randomly freeze or silence you. Because of course they can. I've countered them with Yunaka in the bush plus down. Oh, and by the way, I've heard from this post on Reddit that there will be no additional reinforcements if you're not going straight to the Ivy's platform. Now, what the hell does that mean, I wonder? Wait, you're telling me that there could be more?
He's coming up. Oh, this is a great move.
Oh my god, this is it! This is it!
TY was too clever for him. Oh my god. That was so smart.
He just did it.
Well, anyway, so in the end I've managed to fight my way through all of this bullshit and beat everything on the map. And look at this. 0 crystal uses left, but boss is alone, and he has 0 buffs. In addition, I've lost 0 units. Easily puts a tear in my eye. It's beautiful. And I actually do not have the footage of me beating him. Because, well, as I was saying, I'm a dumbass. And yeah, I'm definitely not replaying it anytime soon. So you have to trust me, he was totally defeated in an epic fashion, with Michael Bay explosions and every character participating. I mean, Yunaka and Erika alone were casually hitting him for double 17 from the bush, even without Alear's engage having only 20% chance of being hit back. And in the end, at turn 3, I finished him with about Star Rush. Because I'm so cool, I don't even need some nerdy Bond Blast or whatever this useless ability was called. So I used Smart Engage instead, and the cherry on top, Hortensia even saved Nodo's stuff that's dropped from Ivy. And after I've defeated him, my god, I mean, yeah, it was a bit disappointing. Not everything was good. Some dumb mistakes here and there, from the developers I mean, but saying all that, damn if it wasn't very fun to play! This is precisely how last mission is supposed to be. I'll say it again. Mission 26 can suck major ass of this map, because it's literally nothing compared to it. For me, it was a very satisfying experience, and truly a great finality to my playthrough of this game. If only they could have fixed the circle bullshit, and the fact that consumed units aren't really giving him anything after the life number 3. Should have maybe increased his stats too, by 1 at random for each corrupted Titan. No? Another small letdown was when he did this, and I was like, wait, is he about to destroy part of this platform too? Is this part timed? Exactly like I wanted it to be? Wow, now this is cool. But I've killed him this exact turn and never experienced it myself. And it turns out he just uses insta-kill absorb ability on this location without destroying anything. Yeah, pretty lame. Another pretty crazy thing they could have done is to make enemy champions on this map look more like the corrupted. I mean, they were resurrected like how many times already? Surely there should have been at least some consequences for this. Visual ones, I mean, with more of a zombified or even demonic skin tones and glowing red or purple eyes or whatever. I mean, last time we've met, Chimera was literally eaten. No? Won't mention how the hell you're resurrected after being eaten, since trying to find logical sense in the story of this game, and especially this DLC, is a big no-no. But can she look slightly more like somebody who were just recently eaten by the dragon? No? Could it be cool for our last battle to the death? We could have had some special corrupted powers to them even. Like, Selene is now healing all of the corrupted nearby with her passive each turn and dealing damage to non-corrupted, or Alfred could have reflected some damage back with the Golden Lotus procs. And Chimera would decrease your stats with Sandstorm, which is now called Rage Storm or something. And we also could have increased the proc chances, making it not a joke but something that you have to keep in mind. I'm just saying. I mean, the music is once again there, gameplay is also kinda there? Just fix all of the above and it could have been literally perfect! For me at least. Oh, and also if they would have fixed the availability of the entire DLC, more on that later. By the way, you can do some totally shady BS like summoning Chimera to the first platform turn 1. I don't have footage for this anymore because I totally forgot, and sometimes I'm such a quick shift deleter. And I actually never bothered to save in a DLC. So yeah, but trust me, there is 1 or 2 tiles where you can stand and aggro all of the 3 chickens and her also, turn 1. And then you decide upon killing her there and wasting at least 1 turn, saving the time later on. Or just feed her to the dragon. In my case, Alfred with Hector with Engage On killed all 3 chickens. And tanked her doubles from Bolt X as well, even without the Storm's Eye and surviving literally with 1 HP. Saving Storm's Eye will be useful for sword chickens from the second platform reinforcements, since you cannot be broken with it. And if you do everything correctly while using Soren's Taunt on him, Alfred with Armats just dead-ass one-shots the entire pack of at least 3. So yeah, overall, objectively speaking, it was pretty okay, maybe even above okay. I mean, if you're going to tell me that you're here strictly for the story, which was a total bullshit by the way, and not for the gameplay moments such as the ones I've so thoroughly described above, then you're lying. Say all you want about the BS in the narrative and how everything is bad and here and there. And yes, as you can see, I do in fact understand it. But objectively, for the majority of consumers of this franchise, the gameplay matters much more. And in my opinion, it was kinda great. Maybe I'm saying all that because I genuinely like the hard parts, but as they're always saying, for each their own. But don't worry, the rage starts exactly right now, because now I wanna talk about the gripes that I have with the gameplay in this DLC. And if we are skipping all the minor things like supports, that's legit everything that is happening before the actual battles. Firstly, how stats are absurdly rigged towards some characters. Yet again, no actual humans with eyes in their eye sockets seems to have tested it. All I wanted is to use Wonder at least once, but look at this. Are you fucking serious right now? I mean, can anybody explain this BS to me? I swear some higher up from Nintendo had a bastard relative who presumably scammed him for money, named Wonder, so he or she ordered to make this character by far the worst. Ridiculous. And because of these trash stats in chapters 1 to 4, your gameplay is heavily focused on getting this kid out of trouble, since everything and their pet hamster just straight up one-shots his ass, making him literally useless outside putting tick on him, or rather Byleth or Micaiah for staff usage. That you even have to trade to him in the middle of the mission, because of course you cannot set their inventories before the actual battle for some idiotic reason, even though you can give them your rings before the battle. Oh, and also, inventories reset each chapter, so you have to do it over and over again. Like, why the hell do you even have this restore stuff if not you or your sister can even use it? Huh? You little dumbass? And he's even saying to you that you need to trade it to somebody else. Like, what is this? Wow, Nintendo, you are so amazing at your job! A gosh darn mole rat balanced it and then tested it, I swear. How is this supposed to be even remotely fun for an actual non-brain damaged human being? You tell me. And also, you can have only certain weapons that cannot be upgraded or enchanted, by the way, but still for some reason play with your main game traits and level 20 emblems. And so, as I was saying, I did, and chapter 2 and 3 were easy as hell. So easy in fact that I've decided to reset and make a no seedle challenge, plus characters who are currently on the map challenge, and the cherry on top, nobody was allowed to die challenge to add some surely needed difficulty. And yeah, after that it was pretty damn hard when I was winning by the teeniest of threads. But if you're not into masochism, then what the hell? But why not just give us locked ring exp and traits, as well as stats and weapons? Because it is very fun having already weak DLC characters, but on top of that, their bonds with my rings are at level 1! Which brings me to my next point. Just for the lulz, I've checked level 1 with my 25-hour save, and instantly noticed what I feared the most. I mean, I'm not about to replay all of it, but is this even realistically clearable on Medellin? Considering that the DLC is available from chapter 6, where without the DLC bracers you have like 4 rings! So, to clear this DLC early game and gain access to additional characters, you have to clear all the DLC maps first for bracers to even have a chance? Oh yeah, not to mention that you have to clear this DLC every time, since there is no new game plus in this game for some reason. I mean, what kind of total nonsense is this? I remember that I've started playing Three Houses from Ashen Wolves DLC, and since Medellin wasn't even a thing in both of the previous games, if you're not clearing the entirety of it first, I've played it on hard. Actually, I'm not even sure if there was a Medellin for this DLC at all. As per usual, different people are saying different things. But there are no Medellin videos on YouTube, so I guess? Well, anyway, I've cleared it on hard. And yeah, it was pretty challenging, especially the last level. Not the boss fight, I mean, the one before that. But saying that, it was me literally first time playing anything from this franchise, so I think I did quite alright. What I'm saying is, even for a novice me it was manageable on the hardest difficulty. But this DLC... in the final battle there are 13 playable characters, and even if you'll collect all the bracers, you'll have only 11 emblems to use. I mean, it's already pretty challenging on Medellin even with full game save in use. And by the way, if you've cleared it on Medellin while strictly following the boss on each platform, then please show me the video. I'm genuinely interested of how the hell you've managed to do that after following him on platform 4 and facing around 10 units that are moving towards you in the process. So yeah, why is this even available from chapter 6 again? To beat it on normal and be done with it? Oh right, I see. Top content from the top company yet again. Why not just make it available as a side story like it was in Three Houses, with all of the rings at level 10? And so the DLC characters are also having level 10 bonds with everything via some sort of demonic fell dragon ritual, or a divine dragon friendship ability, or whatever else anime shenanigans. Oh, and also, can I upgrade needed weapons and maybe even enchant them at least with the DLC enchants? Or can my characters level up like they could've in Three Houses DLC, since it's like, well, you know, the main fun of the game perhaps? Not to mention that on top of everything else, there are 0 traits and bond levels for the DLC characters, even if you replay the DLC while buying said traits/bond levels for them in your main game. Because of course it's working like this, and that's exactly why they are barely useful. Can we at least fix this? And why the hell Vale and Mavier are so busted that even my main character looks inferior in comparison? Can you like rescale it a bit? So many questions, 0 answers. Oh, and also... what? And that's with 30% discount even? Jee-esus. Might as well just make it cost infinite amount of money. Whatever. At this point, why even bother? Nintendo is truly a genius company, deserving highest praise imaginable. And so, drumroll. Here is my long-awaited final judgment after 260 hours on only Maddening and all of my experience with everything in it. The final maximum objective score of this game from me will be let's say 6.7 out of 10, combined with
5 chicken wraps, an iced tea with lemon, and 1,000 Garen points. Oh my god, I do not believe it, 1,000 Garen points. That is a lot of Garen points, I think.
And so, we are finally at the finish line. I don't know, man. I can see that many people were working on it, and as I was saying, in some places it really shows, but it still feels like a massively wasted potential, and especially in the writing department. It's just sad how we cannot get something much greater in a major 2023 release, and even more sadder considering that I kinda liked most of the gameplay. Also, some people are saying that the characters are blunt and blah blah boring, and to them I'll say something like, please go read at least one book. Yes, it's not a masterpiece of course, by far it is not. But I actually liked the main cast. Maybe it was because I've spent many hours on this game, but for me they were pretty memorable. Goofy as Alfred, scattering corrupted and plebs alike like petals, even without Sigurd. Proud and kind-hearted Diamant, who was almost useless for me, since 5-move melee is kinda XD, and I wanted the main characters to stay in their classes, but still had a good presence. Cheerful dummy Timera, who can crit for like 120 from 0 sometimes. Sandstorm is maybe the most broken damage passive in the game. Recluse Thorny Rose, Divine Dragon Cultist Worshipper Ivy, with her questionable for combat hat. Like, how exactly do you even see anything properly with this thing on? The tea enjoyer exquisite Celine, who is like, oh, flowers, good weather, how about a cup of tea? But the exact second you're engaging in combat, she's all about,
you want a piece of me, boy? Jacked up and good to go. Commander, give me something to shoot. How do I get out of this chicken shit outfit?
You feel me? Let's say this character made me giggle more than once. Who else? The gosh darn Hortensia with her cute shenanigans. Yunaka, man! Yes, she's in the main cast for me and should have been fleshed more. Well, anyway, this video was kinda long overall. Even if you'll skip my totally skippable intro and other imagination lunacy. But in my defense, I can say that this game was also rather long, and there is a lot to talk about in it. And also, it's kinda my first video, so let's not judge too hard. Alright? So yeah, I leave you with this message. Dear crazy person who have listened to all of my total nonsense till the very end. Just like I finally realized that I can spew my BS into the internet. You also should never do anything for free if you're at least somehow good at it. Unless you wanna end up like my broke ass that is. Oh, and also, don't you ever look down on yourself. Constant, it won't be for me and I'm not suited for this, won't get you anywhere. I mean, for example, I know that this boring ass video will have 1,000 views max, maybe even less, because it's also too long, and about the game that everybody and their dog already cleared like a month ago and now playing new Zelda or something. Oh, and also all the cringe of course. But you have to start from something to achieve greatness. And if you won't give up, then maybe something good eventually might happen. Who knows? And if it won't, well, at least you've tried. Well, anyway, thanks for listening, kings and queens. And until next time, sayonara. Oh yeah, and go watch Kill la Kill. 10 years later and it's still good. I mean, look at this shit.